Welcome to episode 1 of Between Two Barbells, presented by Primal Strength. I'm Primal Strength's head coach. My name is Tatum McCann. I'm an Olympic weightlifter, first and foremost. I've been Olympic weightlifting for almost 12 years now. I've competed for a long time. I started coaching when I was 17, and I won the 2024 national championship in the U25 weight class. So, yeah, I may know a thing or two about the working out. This is our other coach, Alex. I'll let him go ahead and introduce himself.
What's going on, everyone? Unlike my counterpart, Tatum, I really enjoy picking up rocks. I have done 6 years in the sport of strongman, where I have gone on to win various local level shows. I am the 2025 LA Strongest Man. I have gone to America's Strongest Man, where I have picked up a top 10 finish. Got 10th. Not really going to talk about that, though. um, Last year, 2024 Strawman Nationals, I picked up a fourth place finish. Been coaching now for about 3 years, and it's been a blast.
All right,
So,
awesome. We'll go
yeah,
ahead and dive into what we're talking about today. Episode 1, we figured we'd just get right up in that mix and
we
go
got a
over
doozy of a topic.
a doozy.
A
We're gonna
doozy.
cover gym etiquette and personal pet peeves.
Oh,
You
oh
wanna
boy.
you wanna start us off
I feel
with
I
what
feel
you're
like people are going to hate us after this.
well, no press is bad press,
So,
right?
yeah. So, obviously with, how intense this sport is, right, Tatum? Um, there's a lot of setting up and breaking down events, especially when it's events day in training. And the biggest pet peeve that I have has to be not putting back. Like I I'm one of those people where everything has a place, right? And strawman implements take up such a big amount of space. Like if you know the size of a log, it is big. Doesn't fit on a typical rack, all this stuff. So it's like when someone leaves that out or sandbags, right? Picture this. You pick up a 250-pound sandbag. You use it and then you just leave it there in the middle of a sled lane at the gym that we go to. Right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to put it back. So what makes you think other people want to put it back? It's just kind of a common courtesy. And now it's like we've I've been very fortunate to go to a lot of different gyms. And one of the scariest experiences I've ever had came from one of my friends at Hot Barbell, where we were getting ready for the Arnold, and we thought we put the sandbags back. Me and another friend of mine, and then all of a sudden, there's stuff going on social media about people not putting sandbags back from the owner, my really good friend, Dr. Andrew Bach, and I remember getting so terrified that I was the one that left them like that. And my mind went to the darkest place because I'm like, oh my gosh, I, I messed up. Yeah, so no idea how the sandbags back, but my put your stuff back, people. Like, be a decent human.
Yeah, and I think like outside of the fact that that's just like a dick move, you also have to you're like a full-sized man. I weigh like 110 pounds. I'm a tiny lady. If there's a 250-pound sandbag, I cannot move it. And I remember
Especially,
I worked at Metroflex for a while, and if people left some equipment out, I was just like, well, I guess it lives there now. Like, there's a physical limitation. Not everyone is as strong as you. That's why I get so irritated with like the courtesy plate. Because some gyms do that, where like it's just kind of within their culture that they leave like a 45-pound plate on either side of a barbell.
mm,
That drives me insane. And I understand that theoretically it comes from a good place, but at the same time, one, warm up with an empty bar. You're not warm up with an empty bar. Everybody should be warming up with an empty bar, and I stand by that through and through. Well, on top of, do you know how inconvenient it is when I have to start my workout by taking plates off of the bar because someone was like, "Oh yeah, no, I'll just leave it for the next guy." No, the next guy isn't a guy. It's a tiny lady, and I don't want your plates on my bar.
I mean, you're just getting a warm up.
I have a warm up. It's programmed. I mean, I'm in a gym now that's a much smaller space, but even we had a message in our like gym group chat last week of the owner being like, "Hey, I've been noticing stuff is getting left out more. Stop." And like that's super valid. I think there's sometimes where like sometimes things happen. Sometimes you're like rushing out, sometimes you're like, "Oh shoot, like I have to run. I lost track of time. I'm running late, an emergency, whatever it is happens." But that's where I think when you have a good gym community, you kind of have people to like pick up your slack in those extraneous circumstances. You're like, hey, I have to dip out. Do you mind cleaning up my bar and plates? And then there's like a proper handoff, and you're no longer responsible for it. Like there
Oh yeah,
are times like that, but like
yeah,
figure it out. There's probably somebody else there who can help you.
yeah. I definitely agree with like the handing off stuff, and like we could get into the whole like warming up with an empty bar because like again, we can get into that. But um but I can't tell you how many times that I've had like an athlete come in for a session and then time just gets away from us because you know me. I could talk shop all day about strength sports and training and all that. So it's like
Yeah, it's
I
almost like a podcast for that reason.
okay. Um but I have no problem if someone tells me to put their like ask me nicely to put stuff away. I think that's a very valid thing. It's like not gonna lie, kind of felt like a terrible person the other day. This one guy at the gym was doing box jumps with our wooden blocks, and he hit his shins. Like there was blood involved and all that stuff, and I didn't know this. I see him on social media, and it turns out he had told one of the other coaches in the corner of where we lived that, hey, can you put my stuff away? And I had no idea. And I DM'd him personally on Instagram and I was like, hey, why didn't you put your stuff back? I've gotten to that point where I'm like, okay, someone needs to play cop. And I will gladly play cop when it comes to that. But it's those instances where there, I think, needs to be communication so that way people don't get misconcepted on the idea that people didn't put their stuff away.
Yeah, I think it's just like it's a faux pas. Like clean up after yourself. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
we even when I like coached CrossFit and we would have classes running like back to back to back. I was like, at the end of the day, I was like, look, wipe your stuff down and put it all back where you got it. I'm not your maid. I'm not your mom. I'm your coach. That's not my job. And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
burpee penalties because I could. But there it's just being like a good person. And
Yeah.
like again, extraneous circumstances, and that's on the other coach. Like that's not on you for calling him out, and that's not on him for leaving it. That's on the person who was supposed to put it away and didn't do that.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, the other coach came up to me and like we just ended up laughing about it. Everyone laughed about it at the end of the day because it's like we got no beef now. Like we're all just trying to be cool with each other and lift heavy circles.
It's just like picking stuff up and putting it down again, man.
Just defying gravity.
Did someone watch Wicked recently?
Uh, my lovely girlfriend is getting closer and closer to getting me to watch it. I have not sat down and watched Wicked yet. So maybe in the next episode we could have a movie review or something.
See, I will not watch the Wicked movie because I've seen the musical, I think 8 or 9 times live, and I just know it's not going to be as good as to what I've seen like on Broadway, so I won't do it.
Well, I mean, as someone who I have actively heard belting the Hamilton musical soundtrack while she's maxing out, that does check out.
It's my pop day music.
If you want to know the secret to doing well at nationals, it's the Hamilton soundtrack, people.
I stand by that 100%. You going up for like, you've missed your first two snatches. You have one lift to make this entire thing worth it. Guns and ships,
I've never heard that.
obviously.
I've never heard.
Bangers. We should
Okay.
get into our like lifting music preferences and debates because I'm sure that I know that I lift to weird stuff, which is why I keep it in my headphones most of the
Yes.
time. I am courteous. I'll make people listen to screamy music, but at the gym that I'm at now, like I would surprised to walk in and not be hearing something like decently heavy. That's just kind of the group that we have there. Most people are into like the metal scene.
To just put it out there, you also listen to Veggie Tales.
Okay, there's some bangers in that too. Come at me.
Yeah,
I know
you
exactly
could
what
put on
song.
that all the MCR shirts and all that stuff with your black hair, but in those headphones, it's Veggie Tales.
Sometimes. Sometimes it's Screamy, sometimes it's Veggie Tales, sometimes it's Hamilton, sometimes it's country. You never really know, which is why I don't make other people listen to it. Courtesy.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a headphone type of guy. But there's something like so satisfying because I'm very generic. Like if you look up like pump up music, that is most likely what's going through my headphones. Although lately it has been like divorced dad rock. But still that could be deemed as like generic pump up gym music.
Yeah.
Um, there's no better satisfaction than walking up in a competition and the vibe just matches from what's going on the overhead speakers with the PA announcer versus what was in your headphones during warm-ups. That's great.
That's fair.
Yeah, you can't relate because they don't play music because you're quiet time while you lift.
No, no. Nationals in Colorado, when we were in Colorado Springs, they had music playing over the like gym's loudspeaker. Oh goodness, I'm trying to remember what song it was, but it was like early 2000s pop punk and I was like, "Oh my goodness." I do think that to some degree I didn't do great that day because I was so distracted by how good the music is. There's a fine line of where I need to be in order to lift well, which is one of my mental weaknesses as a lifter. I need like a very curated vibe in order to perform my best. Like I don't do well outside of that controlled area. But yeah, bangers. All right, other pet peeves. Okay, so I know that this is one that's a lot more specific to Olympic lifting, with like people walking in front of you
Hmm.
while you're like going for a lift. I know the powerlifters don't really care. Like when I was powerlifting, no one gave a flying flamingo if somebody was walking in front of them with whatever they were going for. But for weightlifting, I think partially because of like the focus and partially because you're doing like overhead movements and all of that, like you need a decently clear amount of space and to have like a fixed eye point when you're lifting and having someone walk in front of you can like mess with you and it can become like a safety issue. Like a lot of the time it can, which is where most weightlifting gyms have just this like standing unspoken rule of like if someone's taking the lift, you don't walk in front of them. And that's how I was raised in this sport of like a hey, there is a courtesy here. Don't do it. Wait 10 seconds. It's not like they're going to be doing a ton. And sometimes lifters will be like doing light work or warming up and they'll be like, dude, go ahead, you're good. Like mid lift, they'll be talking to you. Does that ring true for strongman?
No. Um, so I will say coming into like being around more Olympic weightlifters, like proper Olympic weightlifters, I could see how it messes with the eyesight and the focus and the concentration that it takes to perform a snatch or a clean and jerk. Especially when you're under like 80+% of your one rep max, like you need no distractions because there's so many things that have to go right. in that lift in order for it to, one, feel good, two, make you not cry when you miss it, and just all this other stuff. Um, so I get it. I get the whole not walking in front. And there's even times where, because in strongman, we don't care, right? I mean, you're lifting on two stall mats. You have a judge that's 3 feet in front of you, and then there's just a row of people. You know, if you're at a local level show in a parking lot, there's a row of people 5 feet in front of you. So I would say there's more pressure to make the lift and not move it because everything is so close. But when I'm prepping new athletes for competitions, I make it busy for them because they have to be able to concentrate and stay focused, right? Like I remember, my buddy AJ, um, when he first showed up to Metro, nicest guy on the planet, one of the funniest guys I've ever met. But like his mental game was not that strong, and I think you can remember this.
Mm.
There were so many times where I would just say, "Hey, AJ, don't fart," and then he'd be strapping in for a deadlift, and he would just break into laughter. So I would tell him that every time he took a lift, I'd be like, "Hey, AJ, don't fart," and then it got to the point where it just didn't even affect him anymore. So there is that kind of like mental aspect. Obviously, my methods may be a little different than others, but yeah.
I get that.
But
I
no,
mean,
totally get it.
when you're in comp prep, or like when I'm preparing athletes for competitions, especially if it's like their first comp, we'll usually have like a front judge, which will just be me sitting in a chair like this
Yeah.
directly in front of them, because they will have a front judge when you're on the platform. I think in one competition ever have like actively noticed the judge in front of me. It just was such like a I am looking past and through them. But we do like prep athletes for that specific set of circumstances in comp prep. But that judge also stays very still. But like
Hmm.
Olympic lifting is like golf. It's like super technical, it's quiet, it's a super niche sport, and it's just like it's golf.
And see, if you want to get into this, we can. But since I personally feel like Olympic weightlifting is on the decline, it's not going to be in the Olympics anymore. So it's just lifting. But it's like, how do you change the sport? And I think what I heard is Wadapalooza in Huntington Beach did something different. And it was just a loud environment in front of people. I think you even had to load your own bar, and you just had a time frame to establish a max snatch and a max clean and jerk. We would have to look it up just so that we were getting everything right. But from what I've heard on the lifters there, they loved it. It was prime time. They were lifting in front of people that just genuinely wanted them to do good. And it was just a total vibe. And I honestly think that's how you can revamp a sport. Get more crowd involvement because there's a little bit of cheering, but it's like I know me personally as an athlete, I thrive off crowd engagement. That screaming, that yelling, and you know, all the casual like use your legs, big legs, all that stuff. Like it's feeding the environment, and I think that's just kind of how you could revamp the sport a little bit. What do you
See,
think?
I'm too much of a purist, and I know that this is probably one of my weaknesses when it comes to like longevity of the sport, but I'm also not involved in the longevity of the sport. I just love it. Is I like that it's quiet. I hate lifting in front of crowds. Like with cheering and all of that, it does the exact opposite for me than it does for you. I don't like people cheering. I want silence. I want the reverence to be not for my performance, but for the lift itself. And I view those as like very separate entities. So that idea, I'm in like leave that with CrossFit. Find a way to make lifting more popular again. And I think it got a lot more popular with the uprise of CrossFit. And then when that has largely fallen off, because CrossFit seemed like a huge decline,
Hmm.
then a lot of weightlifting fell off with it. But I think there's a beauty in how the sport has been so traditionally done because it's an old sport. Weightlifting is
Mhm.
an old sport, a lot older than CrossFit, a lot older than strongman. It's been around a long time. And there's so much beauty in the tradition and in like the liturgy of it. And I don't want that to get lost for the sake of like hype.
No, yeah, for sure. Um, I mean, if we're talking about like revamping sport and longevity of it, you know, you're kind of, and again, we can go back to like the CrossFit High Rocks Uprising and all that stuff. Is CrossFit put barbells in people's hands, right? And then they go, man, I really like this weightlifting stuff. So then they get a weightlifting coach, join a weightlifting gym, and just become specific. And then that's how you fed the sport. But with the decline in CrossFit and the uprising in High Rocks, you're taking the weightlifting out of it. You know, not to discount High Rocks athletes, because I know I couldn't step into a race and do it. Hats off to
Absolutely.
those.
Cardio.
Yeah, hats off to those people. Like they're still pushing their bodies to the max and challenging themselves in a different way. But it's like you're taking a complete strength element out. Yeah, they do the sled pulls and the sled drags and the farmer carry, and they have to be as fast as they possibly can, but it's just a different type of strength.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of tying into why you're seeing a decline in weightlifting as well. You're having all the gymnastic movements and all that stuff still coming up, but it's like with everything going on in CrossFit, you you're kind of seeing a severe decline, and you have to find a way to get people interested, because then you look to like if you're trying to get an 8-year old, a 10-year old, or even like a teenager, right? You're dealing with club baseball, football, soccer, basketball, volleyball, like all these sports where, you know, parents are like, hey, we're going to just focus on one sport instead of looking at the broader picture, right? So it's like, how can you bring in those youth athletes to feed the sport and build that love for the sport, right? Because everyone wants attention nowadays. You walk into a gym, how many people have a tripod and a camera filming all of their accessories? Not just their compound lifts, which
My
is really
accessories.
cool. Huh?
I don't film my accessories unless I think I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah, but it's like I go walk to the bathroom in between sets, and it's like I gotta watch out for, I probably see 4 tripods on the way, and that's a 10-foot walk, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
and I mean, personally, nobody cares about your dumbbell incline bench. Sorry, but just nobody cares. Um, it just put in the work, show it off on comp day, be loud, be aggressive, let people know that you're there. That's kind of what I'm
Yeah.
getting at.
Yeah, and I think that so I started at Metroflux Long Beach. Like that was my first gym when I was in high school. And I don't actually have any videos until I was a couple years into the sport because like that just wasn't really a thing. So like yeah, like you can record it if you're going for a PR, but other than that, why do you want it? And it was that like weird dichotomy of like yeah, we all had cameras on our phones, but that like age of the influencer in that way hadn't risen. But at the same time, you had actual like professional productions going on, or even like the big dudes, the like CT Fletcher and Mike Rashids of the day posting like long form YouTube content out of the gym. So I think like filming in the gym has always been a thing, but I think now it's that everybody feels like that's their thing. They're like, oh yeah, I work out, I go to the gym, I'm gonna film everything that I do. And like again, I've done the whole influencer thing. I don't call myself an influencer anymore. I don't do any more paid promotions. I'm just vibing out with the pages that I have because I enjoy it and like I like content creation. But like everybody wants to be an influencer and have this like, oh, I love attention. I want people to know who I am. And I feel like having had a larger platform than I currently do because I just kind of stopped posting for a year, um, and coming down to this, I feel like I've moved past that of wanting that like oh like everybody I just want like I love the numbers, like getting like the videos that perform well, getting the views and all of that, and onto this like I want to utilize a platform for something more than just taking booty pics, you know?
No, yeah, for sure. Um, I've always utilized capturing my lifts to figure out what's going wrong, right? Uh, Very rarely have I done anything outside of like a log lift or deadlift or any sort of compound movement. Um, so I really utilize it from a coaching standpoint because there's a lot you can learn by taking a video of your lift,
Yeah.
especially with different angles. And it's just you're able to slow it down. You could see stuff that you can't see in real time. And then you could watch it 10 times over. It's like that's how you're gonna find the little meticulous problems that's gonna get you, the 5 to 10 pounds out of your lift. Um, but we are in a new age of where fitness influencers is a thing. Like there's people that have made careers out of it.
Yeah.
Um, Very much kind of getting away from the generation of like Ronnie Coleman, CT, and all those guys that um yeah. Um, but now it's like you get this guy that has a fresh haircut, rolls into the gym, films everything he does, or better yet, has his the guy that sits next to him in school that just happens to have a camera follow him around the gym. And it's like I can't tell you how many times people have like gone in the way of stuff or just the courtesy around other people. And it's like we kind of get into that as the next pet peeve. It is like just gym courtesy. Like you filming your content should not stop other people unless you rent out the gym.
Yeah. And even then, when people would like rent out Metroflex, they was still like, yeah, we're gonna make this really inconvenient, but the gym is open and people are still lifting. Like the purpose of a gym is to have a building for people to work out in. It's the building, it's the equipment, and it's the community. The purpose of a gym is not to be a studio, and it can be. And again, like I'll say more than I've utilized it as such plenty. I also had the privilege of having keys, so I would wait until the gym was closed at 10 o'clock at night and start filming after that. So I'd be like, okay, now I can kind of do whatever I want and make this how I want to without the impediment of other people. But I think it's gotten lost a lot. The gym is meant to first be a building and equipment and a space for someone to push themselves, for someone to get healthier, and a community that comes out of having a shared space like that. Because everyone has their headphones in and is focused on filming their own things and doing all of that, you lose that aspect of community that I think a lot of people should have in a gym. It keeps you in there longer. You want to go to the gym because that's where all your friends are. And you hang out afterwards and end up doing extra accessories because that's what your friends are doing. And all of your friends are also people who are pushing themselves and with shared goals. And it just creates this really cool group. And like it can create this like really nice gym family, or people can plug into their headphones and not talk to anyone and you get the building and the equipment but you're missing that aspect of community, you know?
No, yeah, for sure. I can't tell you how many times like I've been at Metro and then you and some other friends have walked in as I'm like putting on my bag to leave, and then I see you guys. I look at my phone to see how much time I have left, and then I just take the bag off
Yeah.
just to hang out. But it's like, you know, kind of everyone doing their own thing and still kind of touching on the influencer stuff. It's like I can't tell you how many times I've been ready to do a farmer's run or a set of yoke runs, and then someone's filming right in the middle of a lane. And they're just so oblivious because they have their headphones in, they're trying to film content, like all this stuff. And it's like you're now in the way of my workout. And in turn, I don't want to have to be the guy that goes up to that person and be like, hey, can you stop what you're doing so I could do my thing? And then it's kind of like that trade off of who's the bad guy, you know? Because I don't want to do that. If they want to make content, make content. All I'm saying is just stay out of the way of other people. Like, let other people have their time to train and get stronger and be better. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. I deal with that less overarchingly just because you have platforms for weightlifting, and by and large, people will respect that, like, there's a physical barrier there. Don't step on the barrier. But even then, we've had people like when you go to take a lift and they walk across your platform, even if they're behind you, that's just dangerous. Or I know that
oh
we've
yeah,
had it where like people have been standing in the lane for farmers or yokes, and someone ends up like walking in the lane while you're running, and we're yelling like move, because like they're just gonna get hit with like a good ton of weight moving pretty quickly.
oh yeah. Like that's probably my biggest fear is hurting someone in the gym, obviously. But it's like when we're going for like a fast transition and then it's just 100-foot run, 50 down, 50 back, just a very standard event. It's doing the transition as quick as I can, building up speed, and then at that point I look up and then there's just a person in the way. And it's like, I've done farmers up to 275 pounds per hand, and I know there's a lot more people ahead of me that have done way more per hand. So just imagine how bad you would feel as that athlete that hits that person, you know. So,
Yeah, you feel bad, but also like, is that not natural selection?
I
Like,
mean,
not to be that
yeah,
guy, but is
but at the
that not
same time,
natural
it's like,
selection? Like, be aware of your surroundings, stay alert, stay alive. Yeah, I think a lot of these kind of tie together. It comes into like be courteous of those around you and understand it's not only your space, whether it's putting your equipment away or like making equipment available so you're not just using it to film, or not being in people's space when they're like trying to lift and making sure you're not going to be like a literal hazard. It's
hmm
like having awareness and then being courteous of the people around you.
hmm
I was growing up was constantly told like the world does not revolve around you. You're not special. Like you might be special to me, but you're not special. So like don't think that you are. Don't think that other people will get out of your way. Don't think that people will give you things that you haven't worked for. Like you're not special. The world does not revolve around you. And I think that that life lesson has stuck with me to my core in a lot of ways, but I think it's valid. I think too many people think that they're special when, like, on an individual basis, for sure, yes, everybody has inherent value and you are special to those around you. But at the same time, you're not better or deserve more courtesy than you give to everybody else.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's like, if you want to get into it, I have a great story about that.
Hit
Um,
me with it. Story time.
okay, so um, we were training on Saturday, Strongman Saturday, as the term goes, um, that everyone is aware of. I remember the gym that we were at is very small. We were at Hot Barbell, okay? And if anyone that I know is listening, they will know exactly this story. Um, you've been to Hot Barbell. Great
Yep.
gym, great facility, great people. However, they also had the problem of like having the little weeds in like the planter. Um, so the turf was busy and someone was prepping for a big comp. And I remember he had his father there to help him train. And I guess they do that quite often, which is amazing. Like I think lifting with your dad and having that support is just something that's invaluable. Um, so and I remember hearing him under his breath. He was getting so frustrated that other people were lifting and weren't moving out of his way just naturally that he left the gym and just left everything set up because people didn't get out of his way. And I thought that was the most ridiculous thing because it takes a few seconds to just be like, "Hey guys, I'm going to do a set. Can you clear the lane?" And then it's just that easy.
All right, etiquette and pet peeves. You got more for me?
I mean, it's not so much like a pet peeve, it's more just like an awkward situation for everyone involved.
Okay.
I can't tell you how many times I've been at Metro now and I go to use the bathroom. A lot of my stories revolve around the bathroom now that I'm thinking about it, which is weird. um, I'll turn the corner and like you've closed and you've had to clean stuff up when no one's there, so like you've been in the men's room. You turn the
Yes.
corner and it's a sharp turn and there's a mirror right there to the left of when you walk in, and then you have to pass it to go do your business. I can't tell you how many times I've just felt so awkward turning into the restroom and someone's doing their whole posing routine in front of that mirror. And then all of a sudden they're like doing a lat spread and all that, and you just see the turtle shell just get bigger and bigger, and then they just go back into their hole. And then they just go, "Oh, my bad, bro." I'm like, yeah, move out the way. I got business to do.
See, that's where the like big full length mirrors at the old Metroflex were in the lobby.
Yeah.
Like I think there was one in the women's bathroom. I never went to the men's bathroom at Old Metro, but it was in the lobby. So they would like set stuff up, and eventually they put a curtain up so that if you wanted to do your like spray tanning, your posing routine, whatever, and you weren't comfortable in front of like being in the lobby of the gym, and like that was a vibe. But the amount of times that I was closing the gym and I could tell there's like dudes like in the men's bathroom and they're not utilizing facilities. They're taking pictures of themselves. So I would like close down the women's and then you can see them from the hallway. And I was just like, "Hey, can you finish taking pictures of yourself and get out of my gym, please? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's past close. We're closed. Get out." And
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, I think it being in a bathroom, which like I get it. I'm a sucker for a bathroom selfie as much as the next person. Like usually your lighting is pretty solid and you can be feeling yourself. I love to get like do I have lats? I don't have lats to be very clear, but I like to pretend sometimes. But like yeah, I feel like a bathroom being the space for that is just not it.
Yeah. Um, Especially there's more to this story. You'll be taking a right? You'll be going deuce, and the amount of editing you're going to have to do to this is insane. Um,
Let it
so
ride.
yeah, you'll be taking a deuce, and now they've learned to flip one of the light switches off, so that way the light directly over the mirror is the only one on. So it's like you're scrolling on TikTok trying to let the pre-workout and protein shakes do its thing, and all of a sudden like the lights go off on you and you're just like, what the heck, man? Like I'm just here to do my business, not. And this happened yesterday. Yesterday. I'm in there doing my thing, and then all of a sudden the lights go off, and then I just hear multiple times over. And I go, is someone taking a outside of the stall? Like, like I understand having friends in the bodybuilding world that it takes a lot of effort to go through a full posing routine, and it is a marathon in a sense, right? Again, just one of those things where I know I would never do it, so I have respect for those athletes that do it. But it's like you're in the men's room, you just did a set of cable tricep pull downs and lat pull downs, and then you run into the restroom while you still have a pump, slap your tripod down, take the video of you taking off a shirt, and then you just start grunting. Not even grunting. It sounds like you're taking a shit in front of a mirror. No one wants to hear that.
And like okay, filming in bathrooms is a weird thing because again, I'm a sucker for a bathroom selfie as much as anyone. The mirrors that you would take pictures and videos in the women's restroom at Metroflex are in the back corner past all of the stalls. So it's like a little bit different. I feel like you're at least like not directly in front of the doorway. Everyone's having to pass you and you can stay out of the way a bit more. But let's also be so real. Most of the time, it's not people who are like competitive bodybuilders.
No.
You can tell who's a competitive bodybuilder and who's not. And usually it's because they'll tell you a million times when they're on prep. But like, it's usually not the competitive bodybuilders who are the ones making like really awkward situations so they can take pictures of themselves flexing.
Yeah. So, yeah. Again, it's just the typical gym bros that are doing it. Because, again, the actual bodybuilders will go out there, which at Metroflex, the best lighting in that entire gym is right in front of the dumbbell rack.
Yes, it
Hands
is.
down.
That is
Hands
spot.
down. It beats the men's room by a lot. Like, and to kind of touch on it, I'm pretty sure Eddie, the owner of Metroplex in Hawaiian Gardens, who hopefully will one day be a guest for us,
And
because I'm sure we would love to have him and hear his stories. Um, he has gone on record and said that he spoiled you guys for your restroom.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Sergio built
which
our restroom. We have like a full vanity set up in there with like a little stool. Like
yeah,
our stuff is in the back. Oh yeah, 100%.
like in the same breath, why don't we get a vanity? The amount of times I've seen people like in the sink doing their hair, come on,
Yeah, I've
come
done
on,
like
Edward.
full makeup everything in the vanity at Metroplex.
Yeah,
Like a lot of times.
yeah. So, but yeah, that's kind
You
of
guys don't have one because our bathroom is bigger and it doesn't smell all the time.
size doesn't matter, okay? You get in, you do your thing, you get out at the end of the day. And like if you have to get ready for work, you get ready for work. So
Yeah.
that's all I'm gonna say on that. So yeah,
Trying to
I
think
mean
through. I
that
feel like stuff pisses me off at the gym all the time, but I mean, not so much now that I'm at like such a small gym. Is I know everyone. There's like 10 people who go there. We're usually not there at the same time. I lift alone most of the time right now.
yeah. And
Oh, I have one. I have
what?
one. I have one. All right, story time. So I was walking into not the gym that I generally lift at here, but another one, which is their like it's like a more commercialized. It's like their idea of an influencer gym. It's got like the fancy ceiling lights that are all hexagons and stuff, and they did like a not actually marble, but like a marbled flooring across one side, and they sell their own. Like it's one of those places. It's like all the uh oh goodness, it's the equipment company that starts with an A. The ones at Metro are purple.
Arsenal?
Yeah, it's like all Arsenal strength equipment. It's all blacked out. It's like a whole thing, right? Like super curated, right? I go in there one night. It's like 9:30 at night. I figured it'd be pretty empty. There was surprisingly more people than I thought because there was a bunch of like early college age dudes in there. And they're all just, telling each other how cool and how swole they all are because that's literally what the conversation was. They're like, dude, you're just so big and you're like, you're looking so good these days. And I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, like you do your thing. Homie is over here and yeah, Homie is over here on the deadlift platform, which like I'm waiting to use. I'm gonna end up using next because I'm trying to get in some like pulling movements and there's only one little deadlift platform there. So he's on there and he's pulling and he's got like no, not even 6 plates. He has like 5 plates and some change on there. And homie is, I think he said he was like 240. So,
Hmm.
like, not to talk trash, but I think that if you're gonna be an entitled, you have to have the physique or the strength to back it up. You do. You
Oh,
can't. You
you've told
can't
me
think
this
that you're
story.
all that and then also be mid. You know,
Yeah.
homie is like a definition of like mid physique, mid strength. And I would never talk down on someone for this if he had not been the kind of person who made it very clear that he thinks he is the strongest, most well built person in that entire gym. Like, I had no issue until I heard him speak. Because he's over there, he misses his like 6 plate pull. But I like walked up and I was just waiting off to the side, like didn't say anything to their group or anything. I'm warming up underneath one of the squat racks that's next to it. And he like, we've never talked before. He does not know me. He just sees me walk in, and he like has his plates, and he's like, oh, like, I'll finish up real quick because I know you're gonna need all of these, aren't you? In the most condescending tone. And I'm like, all right, this guy's a dick. Like, straight up. First word you say to me is like that. You're a dick. That's a dick thing to say. Goes on, misses the lift, and then starts like yelling at one of his gym bros who was just like heckling him a little bit. He's like, oh, like, oh, I don't remember exactly what his bro said, but like, no, that's not there today. I guess you have to actually train hard or something like that. And he starts like legitimately like full blown yelling at his friend in the middle of the gym at 10 o'clock at night. It's like, bro, what is wrong with you? Continues to post on his Instagram story. I don't follow him, but I left the gym and I was talking to my friend who lives out here, and I was like, oh my goodness. I went into this other gym and this guy was like super rude and super condescending and really aggressive. And she was like, oh my gosh, is his name like blah blah blah? And I was like, I don't know. I never got his name. So she like pulls up his Instagram. I was like, yeah, it's that guy. And he's like posting on there, and he's like posting on his Instagram story like, this is what being 6 foot 240 and deadlifting six plates looks like, and it's like his little like shirtless swolfies. That kind of person is not the kind of person I would ever want to be in my gym.
No, he's definitely a bathroom grunter.
A bathroom grunter. Yeah, just like, yeah, and I occasionally get screenshots from her because she's like, thought you'd like this one. And it's like the same kind of thing. He's like in the scream mask taking shirtless wolfies or like doing like lifts and stuff in the gym. It'd be like, someone had to keep it spicy this spooky season. And I'm like, oh my goodness. The like secondhand embarrassment that I'm receiving from these, I can't. So now we're going to make a little bit of a shift and we're going to get into Inland Empire Strongest, which is a competition coming up next weekend at the
But we're
time of
just going to talk
filming.
about it now.
Yeah, what are the dates of the comp?
So November 8th, I believe, that's Saturday. It's going to be hosted at Hot Barbell in Redlands, California. It is absolutely free to show up. There's going to be vendors. My really, really good friends, Fernando and Lawrence, along with Andrew Mock, are the ones putting it on, hosting it. They've done a lot of work to get ready for it. Um, if you're in the area, within like 20, 30 minutes, highly recommend come hang out in a parking lot. It's the best show in a parking lot you'll ever see.
Alrighty, and with that, we're gonna let Alex yap on his predictions for this. So I'll be reading off our categories and names. So if we're going into open men's lightweights, we have Ricardo Zamora, Juvie Gonzalez, Campbell Lillard, and Isaac Lepi.
Okay. So Isaac, I haven't really had that much interaction with him. I know Campbell, um, Juvie, and what was the last
Ricardo
one?
Zamora.
Ricardo Zamora, I've competed against at LA's. Um, Talked with him a great deal. He's coached by a new pro 80 kilo man, Aaron Talavera. So 100% his coach knows what he's doing. And if I had to give an order, um, I would say Juvie, who's coming off a stellar performance at Masters Nationals. I mean, I believe he got podium in his weight class for Masters. So again, he's riding the high road. He's coming in with confidence, and if I were him, I have nothing to lose right now. And just he's always been one of those guys that's always having fun on the comp floor, and I think Juvie takes the win here, followed by Campbell. Again, a solid performer who, if he shows up and he's healthy, he's one of those guys that you kind of look at and he could steal points if someone messes up. Just so consistent across the boards, in all the events. And then last, um, remind me of his name.
You got Ricardo and Isaac that you haven't spoken on.
Yeah. I only because I don't know much about Isaac. I'm not going to put him on the podium. I 100% wish him well in this competition. But I have Ricardo taking third. Very much, I saw him at LA's, very much an up and comer when it comes to competing. And just, I think that experience rollover from LA's, along with some extra time to develop, is just going to make him a better athlete. I think he's going to handle himself a lot better this time around. It's going to be a bigger test for him with heavier weights. Um, and I can't wait to see them. I'll actually be judging them as well, so I'll get the best seat in the house to watch them all do their best.
All right. Well, move on to our open men, the 200.4 class. So this is Adrian Tapia, James Daniel, Jason Avalos, Fabrizio Zuniga, Stephen Uele, and John Livermore.
Okay, so to touch on that first name, Adrian Tapia. He's coached by Andrew Mock. Okay, this dude has just done nothing but get stronger every time, every week. It seems like he's putting weights on his lift. Um, and he's just becoming a better overall strongman. He's getting his weaknesses ironed out, and I honestly don't have to look at the rest of the list. I think Adrian takes the win here. Just flat out, his log is looking incredible. His throwing has gotten better, especially since regionals. He's also, and we have to send a congratulations. They are expecting him and his wife. Um, so he has that dad strength building,
Sure.
and he's just going to be getting better and better as the years go on. This is his last comp before he kind of takes a break after I've talked with him a little bit. And I think he's going to come out guns blazing and just put everything he has on the floor before he takes um, a little bit of time off. Uh,
He was the one with like the cute little makeup at nationals, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the red, white, and blue stripes.
Yeah.
Um, so Fabrizio is one of our athletes, so I have to shout out him. This guy, again, just one of those up and comer athletes, has a lot to work on. But kind of going in to see what it's like in the open categories. He just competed at Pulling for You, the charity strongman show. That was also hosted at Hot Barbell. Um, so a little bit of fatigue coming in. I mean, as a person, he's a great guy. He goes to school, he works, and he's also an athlete. So, as someone that has done that, I 100% applaud that effort. It is not easy doing that. Um, this is also going to be a big test for him. I don't think he makes the podium, but I think he does make big strides in this comp as far as hitting personal PRs. Um, and yeah, but I have Adrian winning. As far as second and third, it's very hard to tell. There's a few names in there that are just, they could show up, dominate, and push Adrian. I think this will be a good test for everyone involved in the 90s. And I think this one's going to be a dogfight.
All right. Then we're going into our open men middleweight 231s.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Oscar Ramos, Humberto Palomino, Spencer Kincaid, Nathan Garcia, and Genaro Torres.
Okay. Hanaro, sorry if I'm butchering your name, but he's a Metroflex guy. I've seen him kind of come up. I don't think he'll be in the 231s. I think he's moving up to the 265s. Because he's walking around at like 250 right now, and it's his first show. So,
Yeah.
but again, I've seen that guy, helped him out a little bit with his log here and there. He's gonna have fun. Have to shout out him. Oscar has been a really good friend of mine um, for years now. I met him at the first LA Strongest Fan when we were both 80 kilo men. Um, So him moving up to the 105s is going to be very interesting. The consistency, I don't know if it's been there. He's very quiet on social media. Um, it's going to be really fun to see him. I hope he does well. Humberto, again, solid guy, stepping up from the 90s up to the 105s. He's kind of like a floater. He could go anywhere from the 80s, 90s, and 105s. And again, coached by Aaron Talavera. Him and Oscar are both coached by Aaron. Um, so you know that they're going to come in, they're going to come ready, and they're going to put on a really good show. I think Oscar makes a podium. Humberto could maybe steal a third place. It's just going to come down to the log and some of the more static events. But I think they're going to come around with overall packages. Who were the other names?
Spencer Kincaid, Nathan Garcia.
Okay, Spencer, if I'm remembering correctly, uh, is a very well-rounded athlete. Could come in, make the podium at just about any local level show. So I think the 105s is one of the more up in the air weight classes. You have a lot of new people coming into that weight class to fill it out. Um, so it really just kind of depends on who strings together 5 good events on the day. So, but wish them all very, very well.
Alrighty. If we're going into the heavyweights now, the 264 class, we have Taylor Dutcher, Damian Edmonds, David Naranjo, Blake Hoffman, sorry,
Blake.
Hoffman's my boy, and Charles Caballero.
Okay. Um, it's going to be very hard to beat Blake in this weight class. All of the other athletes very much have their work cut out for them. That first name, that guy sounds familiar. What the name again?
Taylor Dutcher.
Taylor Dutcher. I feel like Taylor would give Blake the most competition out of the names that she listed. Um, but so I would say Blake, Taylor, and then third place is up for grabs for whoever wants it. So, but Blake Hoffman to win. I think that's a very safe bet. Congrats to him as well. He just opened up a gym down in Santee, California. Sorry if I'm getting the name wrong, but it's a really fantastic gym. It's called Strength Collective HQ. Highly recommend anyone that's looking to get into strongman in the San Diego La Jolla area, possibly even Oceanside, to come up and check his gym out.
Have you been over there yet?
I haven't. I really want to go. I haven't made the time with school and all that stuff. But one of these days, I will for sure make it over there.
Solid. All right, and then you want to get into the super heavies?
Oh man, the super heavies this year at IE's is going to be brutal.
Yeah. So
Absolutely brutal.
I'll hit the list, and then we'll probably end up having to go over these names a couple more times because there's a good deal of them. So
Yeah.
we've got Christian Davis, Jamie Maciel, Cameron Hansen, Vinicio Castellanos, Levi Biddle, Michael Nolan, Arjuna. I'm not attempting his last name. Christopher Hudson, Nathan Tripp, Jose Burgueno, Langdon Johnson, and Grant Bigley.
Okay. So Grant is coming off a pulling for you win in the heavyweight man class. So I've seen that guy compete now. He's got a ton of energy. This one is going to be really close to call, right? I think it's going to come down to stones, probably even the tiebreaker event. Um, can neither confirm nor deny that it's a stone off. That is a question for comp day. Um, but I have a lot of really good friends with Christian, Jaime, AJ, Cameron, um, all competing. So they've kind of been the talk amongst the town, along with Grant. And Langdon is also a solid strongman athlete. Seems like every time I see him, he's just very well rounded. Again, coming in, just hammering these events out, picking up points where it matters, and just is able to get that little bit out of his body. But looking at the events, right, we have a log for reps there is a Trump option for the first event. Um, I think AJ is the best log presser in the field right now. I mean, he hit a 400-pound log this year at the Arnold. So this is when we're looking at percentages of one rep max. Cameron and Jaime are also very much up there with their pressing. Cameron being a solid presser as well. Um, just I think Cameron can match AJ possibly. Um, Another one, and this is going to kind of shock people, hopefully. Uh, if Christian comes in healthy, I think if he survives the log, he wins the show. This
Okay.
is a very athletic show, and Christian is one of the most explosive people that I've ever been around in training. Um, we have log, we have a deadlift. It's for them, it's a max deadlift off 13 inches. Um, and then we go into the moving event where it's a yoke carry, sandbag carry, and then into a vehicle pull. So that's just going to test cardio. Then it's throwing and then stones. I think those events, if Christian can limit the damage from all the heavier guys, because he's coming in heavy, but he's not 340 like AJ. Um, I think if he could get a solid top five in the log and the deadlift, and then go into those last three events as his events, and with that mindset, I think he could come out on top. Um, so I really want Christian to win. He hasn't really been in the talk as much. He's one of those guys where I feel like he's definitely the underdog going in, but he doesn't treat himself as the underdog, and he knows what he's capable of. And if he has the confidence on comp day, I think he could come in and do some damage. The only reason why I'm not saying AJ is because he's coming off a America's Strongest Man appearance, where he did very well. Very much pushed pro strongman like Nick Guardione um, to reach new limits. And I think he's coming in a little bit fatigued and only on a 2 week prep. Um, he's going to have to rely on that experience that he's had to gain rather quickly in the sport. Um, Cameron, I don't think, has the conditioning to keep up. And I think if he loses a lot of points in the moving event, that could get him off the podium. Jaime, can't speak enough good things about that guy. Um, Monster deadlifter, monster presser is just climbing that ladder all the way up. Um, yeah, he is another guy that could come in and do some really good work and then find himself on a podium spot. But this this is going to be the showstopper because this is the best in California, in my opinion. Um, did you say Gregory Richardson was in the mix?
Mm, no.
Okay, I thought Greg
Grant.
was competing. Huh?
Grant Bigley.
Yeah, Grant. No, Gregory Richardson is again another friend that I thought was doing this, but he's getting ready to make his first appearance in the Arnold Strawman show, the Pro Am. So, uh, can't wait to see what he does over there. Just thought you were a competing big guy. But again, this is kind of like what I view the best in California has to offer, minus a couple people. This is easily a national caliber of athletes, if not athletes that could go to the Arnold and hold their own. And I think it's going to be extremely fun to watch. I can't wait to go to the vendors, get myself some carne asada fries, and just sit back in a chair, hopefully, and watch them all throw down.
Dude, carne asada fries sounds so good right now.
Out of all that, that's what you got.
Yeah, 100%.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
good luck to all of the athletes competing out there. It's a lot of work to prep for a strongman comp. It's a lot of work to prep for I mean, any comp, but strongman is a particularly brutal sport to get yourself into competition shape for. So, like, you show up, you're doing the thing, hats off to you. I would never do strongman until they have a weight class for teeny tiny people, because
Yeah.
not a chance in this world. Um, but yeah, good luck. We'll see how Alex's predictions end up lying after the comp.
Oh boy. Either people are gonna hate me or they're gonna love me. So
I think that you made fair points all around as to far as the athlete readiness. It's not always about who happens to be like the strongest at even all of the events. You have to take into account what other comps they're doing, what other comps they're prepping for, because you can't be at your peak all the time. And if you're not peaked for this comp specifically because you had the bigger, more important one coming, or you just had it pass, that's going to play into how you perform on game day.
exactly. And it's like my paused current coach, Cody Abel, shout out to him, strongest tattooer on Instagram and the owner of Stronger Together. Um, he gave me really good advice when we talked about the Arnold, and he won the Arnold this year in the 80 kilo class. Um, it was very much like there's so many unknown variables that need to go right on comp day, especially at a comp like this where you have so many good people, solid athletes, where you have to get everything right, and sometimes it's luck, and you need stuff to fall in your line. So I think the super heavyweights are really tough to predict, and it's just going to come down to who does best on comp day. So yeah, IE's 2025.
Nice. But
So
alrighty, that'll wrap us up. Thank you for watching, listening. We'll go ahead. We'll have an Instagram page up and running for our podcast by the time this actually launches. So let me thank you for watching, listening, joining us on our Gap Sesh today. This is episode 1.
can I
Yes.
say one more thing? If any viewers have their pet peeves that we did not touch on, feel free to send them in,
Yeah, put them in the
and then we could
comments.
talk about
Send
it.
them over. We'll yap on them. We'll tell you if we think you're wrong. We'll tell you if you want to be validated. Like I'm here for it, and we're
Yeah.
an honest little gaggle of us. So we're here for
All
it.
right.
Go ahead, like, subscribe. Um, but no, actually, we'll be putting these out every week on Fridays. That's just going to be our continuous launch date. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for more that's coming. And if you have any things you want us to yap about or chat about, any suggestions, we're open to those as well. So
Yeah.
thank you for joining us. Like, subscribe, and tune in next time.
Peace.